Is real estate expensive? Absolutely. No doubt about it. Everyone knows Toronto, New York, Hong Kong. These cities have extremely expensive real estate. But I think it's about finding ways of making it work. If you want to afford real estate, you really have to put your mind to it. You have to know that that is your goal, and you need to know what trade-offs you need to make in order to reach that goal. So, for example, I don't go out, I don't buy different things. I also don't have a car. I take public transport everywhere. And that's where I save like $20,000 a year. That $20,000 a year goes a long way into buying real estate, buying property. You really have to love it enough to be willing to make those trade-offs. I can tell you, back in high school, I would always think, I don't have a car. I really want a car. Why don't I have a car? And I would see my friends driving around in their cars, and I would feel bad, to be honest. When I got my first job, I actually even thought about buying a car or leasing a car. Eventually, one of my friends talked me out of it, and it's crazy because now I realize how big of a difference that would have made. How life would have been different had I spent the money, got a car, but had not bought property back in 2017. And it's crazy. I mean, the reality is not spending money on the other stuff put me 3 years ahead, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to purchase my first property until 2020. But my encouragement is, if you love the idea of owning property, of one day owning a portfolio of real estate, that you start doing it now. And you don't have to do it in a big city. It's actually better for you not to do it in a big city. Maybe your rent to price ratio is better. Maybe you can even buy a duplex or triplex and house hack, live in a unit, rent out the other 1 or 2 units. Those are the types of things that will really get you ahead. There's only a couple of secrets in life when it comes to money, right? You can either start a business, make it big, or you have to be smart with your money as you're working, as you're saving throughout your career and investing on the side. You have to be smart about that. And I think one of the biggest things is going to be house hacking. House hacking can take a couple of different forms, but house hacking is what can change your life, because you're saving on the largest expense item in your life. If you think about it from a Pareto standpoint, the top 20% of expenses make up 80% of the actual dollars. Number one is going to be your living and housing. Depending on what city you're in, sometimes housing is 50% of your budget. If it's 50% of your budget, any savings on this portion is going to make a big difference. Number two is going to be your car. If you can save on these 2 items, you're going to be far ahead of everyone else in the game. So here's 3 ways you can house hack. Number 1, live with your parents. I get it, living with your parents, it's tough, mental health, you don't get freedom to do what you need to do. But if you can prioritize your long-term financial health for short-term, if your relationship is good with your parents, if your parents are very open, if they're accepting, if you get along, 100% you should do it, right? If you can find a job where the location is close to home, close to your parents, live with them. You will save so much money. If you can save $10,000 a year, that is literally a down payment on a property if you go a little bit further away from major metropolitan cities. Second, you move in with someone else. Try not to live alone. Living alone is going to be so expensive. You're paying for an entire property on your own. Whether you're renting, whether you're buying, because buying, you're essentially paying to live there on your own. So you're paying the full cost of the physical act of living there. Versus if you split a property with someone else, whether you rent or buy, you're splitting a lot of the cost. Yes, you have to share the space, but at least from a dollar standpoint, you don't have to pay the whole thing out of your own pocket. The third one is you buy a multi-unit property. Whether it's a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex, whatever, the bigger you can buy, the better it is. Because if you rent out a room or a unit or 2 units or 3 units, and you live in one, you're gonna make money living. Now that's crazy, right? You have to pay a down payment, but after that, every single month after, you're making money. Now, in all of these scenarios, you get ahead significantly. Living with your parents and house hacking with multiple units will get you so far ahead. What this opens up the option for you is for you to buy real estate. Buy a property and rent it out. Renting a property that you are not living in will set you up so well in life because someone else is paying off your mortgage for you. And with how inflation is going, when you buy a property, the cost basis of a property, which is the principal of your mortgage, stays the same. It does not grow as the property appreciates in value. So if the market value of a property increases by 10%, 5% every year, your mortgage is still on the same principle. So you fix that number. When you rent your property out, you're able to adjust the market rent every single time you change tenants, or depending on the jurisdiction you're in, you should be able to raise the rent every single year as well. And what you're doing is you're unlocking future income and future revenue streams for yourself. Sure, some people say that real estate is active income, that it's not free, that there's still work to do. Yes, that is true. But I promise you, if you're able to invest the time, the attention, the little amount that it takes, whether if you have a real estate agent or a property manager, or if you know a contractor, that will get you very far ahead in life. That's why I'm so passionate about real estate. That is why I want to keep talking about real estate. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I will keep talking about it, and I would love for you to be here with me as we keep going. See you next time.